So I've received so much shit in the past for not speaking out on certain things, and it is genuinely being out of fear. So this year I am going to do better. The Epstein files. So when I went down the Epstein rabbit hole, it triggered my psychosis. And it was one of the things that really contributed to my spiritual awakening. Now, I was always in tune with spirit. I just always have been like that as a child. I was born like this. But when a friend of mine actually made me aware of this, and my auntie was going down the whole Pizzagate route, I found myself spending months researching and going down all of these different routes of what was happening to sacrifice children and the energetic harvesting and the manipulation that was going on worldwide. Now, at the time that this was happening, there was only a small amount of people that you could talk about this with, because when you tried to introduce this subject to people, you were labelled as crazy. And I think this has just been such a common theme across the board that anybody that thinks outside of the box is instantly labelled as crazy, which is the instigation of fear and why so many people don't share their opinions. And online is like the worst place for it, because everyone is so judgmental and projects their own personal experience into somebody else's opinion. But that's exactly one of the things that they want to cause, is the segregation between the people who aren't doing anything wrong. They have just got their own opinion. So why I'm speaking about this now is because I want to understand who is moving in a solution-based energy. Now, what does that mean? Like, what the fuck are we going to do to change the world? Because it isn't about us being rioting and us arguing with each other about who's right and who's wrong and who stayed silent and who hasn't done enough. It's about us making conscious changes. And I genuinely believe a lot of that starts with food. Now, if you think I'm bringing up food to just differ from the subject, absolutely fucking not. If this is like the first layer that you have discovered in terms of how we're being mass manipulated, you're going to have a huge fucking shock. And I think people who have been aware of this need to absolutely make sure they're not shaming anybody for where they're at in their journey, but also understand that we are being poisoned from the ground up so that we are weak and we are unable to make decisions, and that we are constantly in a place that just has to follow a system that is serving the minority of people. It is demonic and it is fucked up. And part of the reason why I did get the spiritual ick, which is a post that I've mentioned previously, I didn't go into the different layers of that, but I've seen some really fucking dark stuff. And because of some of my personal circumstances that was going on with some trauma, I wasn't actually energetically strong enough to manage that capacity, and it really, really affected me. But now I'm better, and I'm going to do better, and I'm going to be better, and I'm going to speak about things, and I'm going to, even with fear, try and understand, because I'm learning and I don't know what the next steps are, but I'm here to be a part of that change and to be a part of us creating another level of sovereignty. And it's not going to be instant, it's going to be years, but I'm here for the lifetime of that, and every single person counts. So things like having a list of your local farmers and going to the source for what you are consuming, that is so powerful. Being able to manage your mental health and being able to be accountable and aware of where you're at with that, energetically, mindfully, spiritually, physically. When people are strong, they are strong-minded, they are strong-willed, and when we work together to make each other better, then that's when we contribute to a better world. But at the moment, there is so much fucked up segregation that is being created because they don't want us on the same page, and that is the bottom line of it. Now, when I actually tap into the energy of the Epstein files, and I actually didn't know that it was outed like in the way that it was, because I follow these sorts of pages anyway, so it took me a while to catch on to the fact that it's now like public knowledge and people are accepting that this sort of stuff happens. But trust me, this is like the base, like there's so much more that's going to be coming up, and it just makes me feel sick physically and energetically when I go into that energy. Like it's just one of those things that I'm not avoiding, but I'm also making sure that I'm not spending a large proportion of my time going back into that stuff, because the majority of the content is the same of what I've already experienced like 7 or 8 years ago. So I don't want to have to go through those feelings again, because it's sick, and I'm very, very sensitive to energy, and it really affects my own well-being actually going into that. But something that I do want to be a part of is like, how are we consciously creating new systems? Because that is exactly what we have to do. Things are gonna fucking crash. And why do you think they're pushing out the farmers? Why do you think that they're making it difficult for them to survive? Because without them, they've got control over everything. Because how do we survive? Through what we consume. And I do think that I want to be a part of these types of conversations, and I don't know where they exist. So that's partly why I'm making this video, to be introduced to spaces that are speaking about the future. I can't go on anymore being quiet about this, because I've made some mistakes when I'd decided to not speak over comfort and fear of being judged. But like in 5 years' time, when the world is fucked up, maybe just a couple of conversations would have made the difference. And I genuinely believe that is how we change the world. So yeah, that's what I'm here for.